Hey everybody, it's Matthew. Welcome back to the channel. Today I thought we'd do a little starter lesson about modes and learn a couple that you can get started with right now that shouldn't be too much trouble for you to understand at all. And while you're here watching that, don't forget to go down below and subscribe and click the notification bell to know when a new video is out. Subscribing helps out a lot, so I'd really appreciate it if you went ahead and did that real quick. Anyway, let's not waste a ton of time here and get right into this lesson. So, of course, we're going to be starting off in G because G major is a scale that often people learn pretty early with the guitar, so we're going to start with that. So you guys hopefully know the G major scale real quick. Let's just run through that guy here. So you guys should be pretty familiar with that, of course, going all the way through the pattern like you might want to here. And there's the bottom of that. So we all know the G major scale, of course, pretty easy one to understand. So R1 is here at the G. And of course, the main principle with modes is it's basically a different way to play your regular old major scale because it goes up through the different degrees of the scale, and that's sort of the basic idea. The main thing that changes with that, though, is the chord relationship. So the types of chords and things you use within the scale are different, and that's typically how the modes can have a different sound, even though they're going to be made up of all the same notes of your beginning major scale here. But before we go further into that, I'm sure you guys also probably know your E minor scale. Well, you know your E minor pentatonic, of course, which would be this guy here. Of course, here is the full minor scale with the notes added back into it. And of course we have that down. Now of course your E minor pentatonic. Why is this significant when we're talking about modes? Well, of course the E minor is also a mode itself, the minor scale, which is called the Aeolian mode, which is the sixth mode of the major scale. So in this case, E minor is the sixth mode of the G major scale. So it's pretty simple. You already know two modes right off the bat, just like that, and you maybe didn't even know that before. So anytime you're in E minor pentatonic, you can go back to G and play in that too if you want to, and vice versa. Of course, it's a pretty simple concept to understand. But what if I told you with these basics, you also already know two other modes and you just need to make one simple change to your already major and minor scales to be able to play those modes? Well, let's go into it real quick. We're going to start with D Mixolydian, which is the fifth mode of the G major scale. And to find that pretty easily, you just count up through your scale. So starting at G, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And that is our starting place for the D Mixolydian mode. So it's pretty simple. It starts just like our G major, of course. We're going to be playing the same notes. Of course, it starts in a different position, but it's basically the same shape to start with, so we're going to have that. So let's run through it here, starting at this 10th fret on the E string. And this is where the change is going to happen. Instead of going here to our major 7, we are instead going to go to the minor 7 and then in the scale. So that would be like this. And that is the simple change to have D Mixolydian. Continuing that down to the bottom. and that is your full shape. Of course, you can solo in that as well if you're in G, which is very fun to have this minor 7 here added in because we can do fun stuff like this. So yeah, that's the concept there. It's a very fun place to play around, you know, with your shape there. Of course, as I said though, there's another mode that we know already because of how our shapes work here. And this one's going to be built off of our minor shape. And it's going to be the third mode of G major, which is going to be Phrygian, and in this case, that's going to be B Phrygian. So we're going to count 3 to get up there like this. And that's going to be our starting place for that. So remembering our minor shape, but our difference is going to happen quite early on here in the scale shape. So starting with our B note, we have that. But after that, we're already going to be changing it, and we're going to go to this note just a half step up. We're going to go from the 7th fret to the 8th fret and play a flat 2 instead of our normal 2, which would be here on the 9. So we're going to have this shape here instead. So continuing that down through the rest of the scale here. So this is one of those, this is a pretty weird mode because it's got this flat 2 here. And then a flat 6 here. And that's usually the spots you want to be in if you're really trying to drive home the fact that you're in Phrygian. So it's a really vibey scale. So if you hang on to those half steps like that, it's a pretty fun one to learn. Alright, so let's run through all 4 of these modes that we've learned here, starting with our G major. And then let's go up to our Phrygian mode here. And then D Mixolydian. And then E Aeolian here, or E minor. And then those are our 4 basic modes there, guys. So getting started very easy with modes there. You just have to make one simple note modification with each of these. With B Phrygian, you just modify your minor scale you already know there to have the flat 2. And then with Mixolydian, modify your G major or your major scale with what you already know and just add that flat 7 in, and then you have those modes completed here. So this is just a simple quick lesson to get you started on modes here and kind of help you understand and wrap your head around what is exactly going on with those. And it's really easy, of course, to know where your modes are. If you start with your major, your Phrygian's going to be on your 3rd note here, then Mixolydian's going to be on the 5th, and then minor's going to be, Aeolian's going to be on the 6th one. And just count up through your scale and you'll be able to know where you are, and if you have all those patterns down, you can pull them out at any time really easily and never forget about where you are when you're going through your modes. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick little lesson here. Didn't want to get into any chord relationships with the modes because that's where it starts to get really complicated. So I just wanted a quick starter lesson here for you guys, which I hope you enjoyed, of course. Again, like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video. And don't forget, as I said before, click the bell so you know when a new video is going to be out. And with that, guys, I hope you all enjoyed that, and I'll see you guys next time for another video. Have a good one.